Soul Garden.
Good morning, it's Monday, and I'm lovecasting from my smartphone to yours in the Serious Joy Garden Studios in Costa Mesa, California, and this is your Monday, Namaste Today. Good morning and namaste, and welcome to Namaste Today and the Zodiac Weather. If you go to my written blog at soulgarden.tv. My name is Witecki. I am the Sensei to Serious Joy, and I'm here to stand in my heart and walk in the light. Such a pleasure to be of soul service to you. I am lovecasting live today in our Costa Mesa Garden Studios because I am still working on projects in Southern California, but I'm feeling wonderful. We have gone through a very powerful weekend. Don't know if you felt the holy shift. In fact, as a courtesy to you, I released a video that normally only my subscribers see so you can get some context on what's going on because I want everyone to benefit. I want everyone to learn. But it is a powerful time. Over the weekend, we had a breakthrough, hopefully. Step 22 ruled on Saturn Day. Step 23 ruled on Sunday. And that is basically us feeling that we belong somewhere else. And on Sunday, wrapping our head around that. And I have to say, just to share my own private life, that indeed, I was a cranky boy in the first half of Sunday. I was very cranky, very serious, no joy, because I realized that my heart was not, I was treating myself still like the old way of treating myself, like I belonged somewhere else, like I belonged as the guy, fighting his way up, the nice guy finishing last. These are all the stories I used to feel I belonged to, and now I'm saying I don't belong to these stories anymore. But my anger, I found, I think, was that my heart doesn't feel like it belongs in that story anymore. So it took me a long time, some running on the treadmill, meditation, listening to myself for a long time, to finally get a gist of it, and listening to my favorite music too. That's super important. Music gets me out of certain funks. So where we are today is Jupiter went to step 1 over the weekend. That means we are getting pregnant with what I call the new meity. Don't know if you read that, but it's one of my blogs. The new meity. I think that we have a new meity. There was a reality once upon a time on the earth, and in that reality, that was when we always repeated what other people did. Like our religions, when we would religion a place for Rome, and that's what we used religion. So it's all about reruns and repeats and re, and I don't think that's what the future is about. It's my opinion as Sensei to Serious Joy that it's about me in the new paradigm. So Apple invented the I with Steve Jobs, okay, and all of that. I think it's me. You know what I mean? Which I think has more heartfelt. I think there's more heartfelt to me, and that's what we're supposed to focus on is me. And I also know that Creator calls himself me, all right, not I. So, that said, it's time to step in the new meity. Jupiter's at step 1. And I will say, my friends, before I go into my little discussion with my guides, that I know from my experience in this particular transit that the impressions, basically that everything that happens to you right now is kind of like God slapping you on the back, like making a funny face. So if you make a funny face, smack, 12 years. 12 years you're going to probably, I think, have that face on, okay? I sure hope it's a Japanese tourist smile. You know what I mean? Like that you have when you get smacked. And I'll, of course, be telling you kind of when we get smacked, so to speak, on the back. But in essence, the truth is it's a gradual process that moves up in vibration. Jupiter's at step 1 today, Virgo. That is, I love my new meity. Step 2 is I feel my new meity. I believe in my new meity. And up and up and up the staircase to heaven we go. Or Serious Joy. Heaven's much farther than Serious Joy, right? So without further ado, why don't I dive in and talk to my guys. Let me do house cleaning always before. This is going to be my new little pattern. I realized that even though I'm traveling around and doing everything, I still should make sure I say some things always in a video. You know what I mean? And make sure, it's like not... So, thank you for allowing me to grow on camera. Thank you. Also, I'll just say in the house cleaning. So for house cleaning, I always wanted to say a few things. And one is thanks for the comments. People are sharing like crazy. I think it's wonderful. I think it's when you care, you should share because you can't imagine that someone out there, also is benefiting from it, but someone is. And a lot of people comment back and say, wow, I'm so glad you shared that because I was feeling that way, et cetera, et cetera. So, feel free to share. If you want more privacy when you share at stepº24. Because it's my it's my space, not the old MySpace, and you're a little bit more protected there by my energy to share there if you want to share. I want to say thank you with gratitude to all the people and what the wonderful things they've said is what I want to put out there, and I'll always be leaving this little spot here for little announcements. And the last announcement I'll say, and I'll just say this now, and then we'll go into what this week is about. I'll summarize the week real quick too. I've been kind of told by my guides in the background for a while now that I should be sharing some stories. I have certain stories of miracles that happened to me, and they've been private stories up until now. But they're asking me to share them, so I'm going to start sharing some private stories about miracles and spiritual things that happened in my life, and let your heart be the judge of what your impression is of it. But what I'll do is occasionally throw them after one of my Namaste Todays. It's not all the time, but you probably do always want to check at the end of a show to see if there's something there for you. I often leave presents there if you haven't noticed. Some people have gravitate to that truth. And I'm going to start doing a little bit of story time, little tiny stories that share, and that's so that everyone can kind of see the magic in life. So, life is, this is a good transition. We're in Leo, my friends. I'm going to talk about the week now. How are we on time? This one may be a little long, but we're kicking off the week. We're in Leo, and Leo is a powerful sign because it's our heart. And I don't know if you know any Leos, but they are high drama, right here included. Leo rising, high drama. I like the drama, and I tell my poor partners that I work with, I sometimes get really passionate. I'm just like, sorry, I'm playing the part now. I have to. I just have so much fun with it sometimes, and that's where we are now. It's time to play the part. That's what this is about. I believe that life is a passion play about you. So you would say about me. So life's a passion play about you, and you're playing out different possibilities of who you really are. And what we work in this passion play is we try on characters, we try on costumes, and sometimes they resonate and sometimes they don't. When the sun moves into Leo, we all sign up for a new story. Our heart is signing up for a new story. Now, up until now, in Act 1 of Leo, we had a lot of heartfelt clearing to do. In Act 2, we were trying to figure out what is our heart wants. But in Act 3, which starts this week, we begin to play the part now. Now it's time to play this part, this new character. And I will remind you that we are in a Venus retrograde, which means that this was a costume we once wore before, and is part of the cause effect of our personal wave. So this week, we're actually moving into Act 3 of our passion play. And in Act 3, we are still figuring out who we want to cast in ourself, and we will be continuing to figure out who we want to cast or what character exactly we want to play until the end of this week. So until the end of this week, you're still figuring out what character you want to play in this next passion play. By the way, the frequency of which we change passion plays is once every 12 years. So this story change is a big deal. The frequency is once every 12 years. So this is a big deal. We're changing plays. And with Jupiter and Virgo, what I represent that is this week, because we're trying on stories, we're also doing a set change. So the set, the reality, the office, the day-to-day life, the feeling, the vibe, the set, because of Virgo consciousness, the set is going to change, and all the props and whatnot, because we're testing them out to see if it's going to go for show. So that said, it's the last week of figuring out who you really are in your passion play, and we're going to start to do some set decoration. And without further ado, let's check in with my higher self and my guides. Okay. So interesting. Just to share, as I now try to go in on cue, and I've always tried to go in on cue because if I have a reading, I have to go in on cue. It's like I could be on the phone with the freaking utility company, and all of a sudden, oh, sorry, got to do a reading, and I have to go in on cue. So it's not easy, but there's definitely an exhale when you're in. There's definitely this exhale of whatever you were holding on to that has to go when they come in. So I wanted to say that. And part of the reason I'm showing that is because they talk about the North Node. The North Node is at step 1 Libra. Now what that means is God, the North Node is kind of like, it's God. I was going to say, is it another part of God? No, it's God. It's like God going, here. Here. It's that simple, and here. And then over time, God's and over here. So it's not, and we're being told where to dance and where to step with the North Node. That's one of the things we're told. And Yods, our God, definitely telling us things too. Bell hears some danger here in the studio. The studio Jedi dog senses disturbance in the Force. Everything good? Sorry about that, folks. So, in essence, a Yod and a North Node. Well, the North Node is at step 1 Libra, which means that we're being instructed to listen to our relationship to ourselves. Step 1 Libra is, I love relating to myself. Now, the best way to think about step 1, this is the image I just got, is when a baby discovers itself in the mirror, like, and the baby's like, it's like figuring out, this is me. And then what's really cool, if you've ever seen this with a child, is when the baby figures out that it's them, and the baby like grins, like, wow, like you can see the baby like, wow, that's me, like when they get it, it's so cute. And that's kind of where we are, like, we're in that wow stage of, wow, look at who I really am, and what does that mean? How do you treat yourself? How do you talk to yourself? How do you love yourself? How do you preserve that? Only you see that vision of you, so you must protect it. You must look out for what you see. You must look out for that beautiful baby you see in the mirror. That's North Node. And, oh goodness, how funny. And so today the moon, I'm giggling because I didn't look at everything until now. The moon is crossing over Black Lilith today, so that means that we face fears, but it's not really about facing fears. I mean, it's about maybe we basically walk past the fear. So it's like, oh, look, that's where I would have killed my husband right there at that corner had I not gotten my senses. You know what I mean? Like, so it's like, so we pass our fears. It's like, oh, that's the building I was going to, it's not always, jump off of. It could be hurting yourself, whatever. But like, whatever you're afraid of, you'll see it go by. You'll see the opportunity go by. But I argue you won't feel a thing. You won't feel a tug at all, because especially if you watch the show, because you've been consciously climbing the steps with me. Now they bring me to Mercury. Mercury is at step 16. Step 16 means we want to put the mind, Mercury, put the mind on our heart. That's the one. And the second thing we think about is how easygoing is this moment. So with the energy moving into Virgo, we're doing a set change. So we're all the changes and props, and we're changing new details, and we're deciding, should we go with red or should we go with blue? And in the second act, are we going to go ahead and kill off the character? No, let's wait till the third act, And so all these things are changing and whatnot. And what happens is people tend to burn out, like, oh my God, it's too much. They just, they can't take it. Like myself here, I literally take a nap when I'm overwhelmed. Like Witecki comes back online, But or the alternative to being overwhelmed with the boundaries, and this is what they were telling me with Mercury at 16, and my juicy way of saying it, is that you can pay attention to every detail, try to stay on top of every detail, kick yourself for not being on top of every detail, or you can wing it. Now, by winging it, we mean that you let your senses and your feelings go with it. When the 1 and the 6 they add to a 7, which means your psychic awareness will guide you if you focus on staying in the flow of life. So if you stay in the flow of life with your mind and not get so hung up on any one detail, in fact, I look at details that go by like, oh my God, that's so the perfect actress for the part, and she's not available. Okay, so that's interesting. What's next? I don't get too attached no matter how perfect it seems, because I know there's more where that came from, and that's ultimately what it is. Venus, they say now, is still at step 21, where it's time to be fun. So although the sun crossed over Venus over the weekend, although we were moving forward into our heart and into Act 3 of our character and story, we're still going back in time and figuring out just exactly where our heart is. So if you're watching this going, I don't know what my heart wants, don't worry. Venus is still at retrograde step 21. So Venus is still, you're going to get deeper. As Venus retrogrades, we get deeper into the heart and deeper into the heart. It's like onion layer and onion layer and onion layer. And like, oh my God, and you'll be like, and as you get deeper, by moving forward with the new reality, as you get deeper in the heart, by moving forward with the new reality, okay, you remember things you forgot. Like, oh, that's right, I used to love to dance when I was a kid. That's right, we spent hours and this is you awakening the deepest parts of your heart, which is good, because this is happening as Jupiter waters the new reality. So if you listen to your heart, if you open up now, I don't care if you believe any of this mumbo jumbo Witecki is talking about, I promise you that it will become a part of your life, that the universe is going to slap you on the back with that Japanese tourist smile, and you're going to be kind of caught in this direction towards serious joy with all of it. So don't overthink it. That's my whole point. Now, lastly, thinking with overthinking, we're a little long, but I'm going to go ahead and make tomorrow's a little shorter. With overthinking, We are, caught in a time warp, I have to say. Remember, we have Jupiter, we have Neptune on each side playing a tug of war. Just realize that things are off a little bit. And actually, to keep on time, I think I'm going to close the show here. Just to keep, I'm real focused on the new reality being time conscious. In my new reality, that is. All right, my friends. I love you so much. I said everything I had to do in the little timekeeper thing in the middle. So please stay in your heart, all right? And with step 24 ruling today, which I'll talk about my blog since I need to wrap up this video. With step 24 the day, I'll outline it in my blog, how that builds and what you hold in your conscious awareness as you're keeping your mind open to where everything flows. All right? See you tomorrow. I love you, and live, love, be.
So